Okay, go. It's 6:30 p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order. Notice is hereby given that a special meeting of the City Council of City of Sandy Oaks, Texas is being held today, Monday, December 2nd, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. at Sandy Oaks City Hall, located at 4451 Hickory Haven, Sandy Oaks, Texas 78112, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. All agenda items are subject to action. Ms. Shelton, can we get a quorum call, please?
Alderman Rapino.
Here.
Alderman Fillinger.
Here.
Alderman Tremblay.
Here.
Alderman Walker.
Here.
Alderman Yelton.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay. And let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, citizens to be heard. You had the sheet, right?
Yeah, there were none.
There were none, okay. We won't read all that then. Item 4, administration. Item A, discuss and or possible action on the purchase of a modular building from Texas Facilities Commission Federal Surplus Property. So almost 2 weeks ago, myself, Mayor Pro Tem Rapino, and Alderman Tremblay made a trip up to Fort Hood. We had been notified of a potential building that had come available, so we went up to take a look. And when we got there, Harris County Sheriff's Department got there like 5 minutes before us. And so they were out on the tour and we had to wait. And when we finally got to go over there, we were informed that they had dropped a PO on it. So we missed out on that one. But the gentleman that we were working with the disposal group, had said that there was another building that has not yet been inventoried but was coming up, and wanted to know, since we were already there, would we like to go take a look at it. So we did. And actually it was a better building. I think it's a much better, it's bigger than what we went up there to look at. What we were looking at was basically this same type structure with some offices already configured, but it was a triple wide. This is a double wide. What we looked at and what we're here to discuss this evening is a 7-unit modular building that is over 5,000 square feet. So it had 14 offices, a kitchen, a separate meeting room that is about the size of what we're using here today. It had, it would give us storage. It had a lot of things that we need and would give us some room for growth. So you should have seen some of the pictures here. I'll go through them a little bit. The first picture, well, first I want to show you just a general layout, and I did not get the exact floor plan drawn out, but I let y'all pass that around so that you can kind of see what the layout generally is. And on this first page, this would be when you came in the entrance, immediately to the right is a hallway. And you can count, there are 8 offices down that particular hallway, and there is an emergency door at the end of the hallway. Each of the offices, the entire building is carpeted. It has security lights already, emergency lights, fire alarm lights, a really nice little switch panel at the front for, I think my batteries are going down.
Yeah.
Okay, we have extras. This is a 2012 model, is that correct?
2012.
It had been used as a TBI facility, I'm assuming for doctors and treatments at the facility. On the second page, one of the things that we get with this bigger building is bigger bathrooms. So this second page shows the men's restroom. It has 2 seats and a urinal. And in the women's restroom, it had 3 seats, 3 stalls. Pardon?
All handicap.
Everything's ADA compliant. Has emergency lighting, I don't know if I told you that, in the event of power failure. The third page is what you see when you walk in the door. So you have a big hallway area, and immediately to the right is that first hallway that we looked at. Immediately to the left is a separate room that, like I said, is about the size of what we're using today to hold our meetings in. So we wouldn't have to have, the court could be held without interrupting, day-to-day activities that occur here. And immediately to the left, there was a little small office that had a slide window, like, for
Like a receptionist.
kind of like a receptionist thing. So it would be ideal to place that bulletproof glass that we've already ordered on that wall, and then just cover that wall with the fabric that we've already approved for purchase. And then you can see there is one big office. Okay, one big office there on the left. When you go straight down that hallway, that's the women's restroom, and then there were two different sized water fountains. And when you take a left, and I don't have a picture of that in here, but down that hallway was the men's restroom, and then there were 3 offices on the left-hand side, and one of them had a cipher lock on it, so we weren't able to go in there, but the fact that it had a cipher lock was a benefit. We could use that for evidence or holding or whatever the marshal decides he wants to use it for. And then it also had a separate rack room for servers, and down at the end of that other hallway. So when you come in the building, you had 2 glass doors that you enter, and the 2 hallways that went to the right each had emergency exit doors down there. There were no exit doors on the left-hand side. Let's see, and then the exterior, you can see the 2 exit doors. The nice thing about this one is it's metal siding. It also has a rubberized roof on it. And to my knowledge, it was bought and placed there and has not been moved since it was originally placed here. And there's only windows on the front side of the building. And then, of course, the 2 doors, emergency exit doors, have windows as well. So that last hallway that went off to the left at the back had no windows. So I would like to hear Mayor Pro Tem Rapinoe's comments on his thoughts on the building.
Well, I think, I guess it works.
It does.
I think it's a great opportunity to, for the city to be able to have all of its operations in one place, and that place would be, of course, the Saws property.
We call it the former Saws property,
The former
FSP.
Saws property, okay. And then, as we had discussed, using this as a community center. So it is in keeping with moving forward with making Sandy Oaks a better place. So I think it's a great opportunity, and it's dirt cheap for the building itself.
Yes. So this building, when we purchased it through federal surplus, it cost $3,000. This other building, they're going to charge us a little bit more. They said it would be $4,500. So for a 5,000 square foot building, I think is a bargain. Now, do I need to do these separately, or can I talk about the second item as well? Because it does kind of figure into the overall
You can talk about them all, just
as a group thing, and then we vote on them separately. Okay. So of course, the original plan, or when we bought this building, it was $3,000 to purchase the building, but it cost us $12,000 to transport it. That included the breakdown on the shipping end, transporting up here, and reconnecting on this end. While we were in the area, Alderman Tremblay tracked down a transport company that was in the area, and come to find out, he's military, and he also has access, spends a lot of time on the base, and does a lot of transport. So trying to determine the cost of transport was going to be the next big piece of this. So he has sent us his proposal, and you should each have seen his proposal here, but the bottom line is the cost is $39,500. So if you add the $39,500 plus the $45,000, that puts us right at about $4,400. I'm sorry, $44,000 in total, and that works out to about $8.80 a square foot for the building, and that includes transport. Tear down on that end, transport here, and set up on this end. And the way the federal surplus works is from the moment, the day that they get what they call the allocation, we have 21 days to clear it off the lot down there. So as of today, it still has not been allocated. It will be happening any day now. And in talking with Larry from Silver Reef, his expectation is that it would be moved up here and put in place by mid-January, mid to late January. And it would come in pieces. I think he's talking about doing 2, 2, and 3, I think is how he's looking to do that. But he's going to come down and do a site visit just for maneuverability on how to get in, what obstacles he might encounter. As I understand, the engineer has already been down and kind of assessed the area for placement, which from what I've understood is different from what I was envisioning, but that's fine. That works out.
Perfect.
It works out. Yeah, it does work out better. I was afraid it was going to be too long because it's 92 feet long and 54 feet deep. So it's a very large building. It does have a rubberized roof. It's metal, but it has rubberized material on the top of it, and part of the separation is going to require that to be professionally redone once we get it all back together. And of course, we'd have to talk about other things down the road, like an ADA ramp and things like that. But to get the building in here, it can happen in the January timeframe, assuming that the council approves the purchase. And we do have, and the budget is a whole different thing, but we do have funds available in the budget without dipping into the reserves. When I budgeted for the prosecutor and the municipal judge, we've never done this before, and I reached out to each of them and asked them, here's what I'm thinking, what do you think? And they all said that was okay. However, the reality is the court runs so efficiently that we really are not utilizing the funds for that particular intended use. So we have enough money between those two line items that we can easily pay cash for this, the transport and the purchase. And again, the intent is to utilize the former Sauce property that we purchased. That's always kind of been the goal, is to have that as a municipal complex area. We already are getting set up for our animal control facility, so this just becomes a natural progression for moving all of the operational out of the park and putting it up in a more convenient location. And then again, like you said, let's turn this back into a community center, a place where we can hold events, or that's something that people are very interested in doing down here.
Time for questions?
It is time for questions.
Okay. Instead of the former Saws property, let's call this the Municipal Plaza.
I like
Just because
that.
I like it.
I like that too.
I'll try to speak where people can hear. I have had questions. What's it for? Obviously, it's for a municipal building. Where are we going to put it? That's been answered. Then I have some questions of my own. when I'm gonna say we, looked at the animal control facility, I remember some discussion about septic, and we were gonna maybe put in a septic for a second building. Did that go through?
So, the answer's no. We have
Okay.
one septic system installed, and that is strictly for animal control, so we
Okay.
would need another septic system.
All right. I'm assuming since that is the former Saul's property, adequate water is available locally?
It is,
Oh, yeah.
that's a whole nother story, but yes.
Definitely.
Okay. Then my third question, out of 19 million, we have a tremendous electrical service available there, correct?
There's-
All of that is
there's-
currently being designed by the engineer. So the only authorization that the engineering firm has at this point in time is to do the design and get the bids placed for animal control. With the understanding that any design that they do needs to be easily expandable. So
Okay.
they understand that and
We
they're
dis-
designing it that
We
way.
discussed that when I met with him last week. I did ask him to come up with a plan that would be able to handle both the municipal building and the animal control facility. Animal control facility is going to be very little power requirement. There's not much
Understood.
there. But there is a transformer there already that was providing power there when Bear Met was operating. So
Okay.
it's not like they gotta go back
Oh, no,
over Priest
I
Road to get power.
I understand that,
There's-
but I have to
there's
ask
a-
the question.
There's another
Absolutely.
transformer on my property and there's one on my daughter's property. So there's 3 transformers there easily for them to.
I think what
grab power
Charles is
from.
getting at is
The
that
transformer at the
At
Saul's
the Saul's
property
property
is
is-
actually a big old 3-phase transformer, and I have no question whether that will.
I think their only question was
But-
whether we wanted to go underground or overhead. And I told them we can go overhead from the transformer to the pole.
Right.
And wherever the pole is, then we can
Okay.
go underground
Exactly.
from there, wherever.
And my point is, it's a great deal on the building. It's a great deal on the transport. That's like $5,600, $5,700 per unit.
Less than what we paid to move these two pieces.
Yes. My concern is, and I looked at the budget, we have money to buy it, but we can easily spend triple the money bringing in utilities. We have a gravel road going back there that, you know, it was fine for Saul's heavy equipment a couple times a month, but day in, day out driving, we're gonna have a problem there.
That particular road is going to be access only by Public Works, Animal Control, and the Marshal's Office. It's not going to be a public access road. They would come in off Priest Road.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
but it's still, we're talking about gravel road.
Yes, now, so I know where you're going with this.
Well,
This is the initial, but we didn't plan for this building purchase. This is something that just
That
kind of
I know.
arrived,
Fell in
so
our laps.
it did. And so we may not be able to have it up fully functional in the way it needs to be in this current fiscal year. We may have to budget some of that for the next fiscal year, but we need to start somewhere.
Okay, and I have no problem with that. I just want everyone aware that,
Oh, I know. We need a parking lot, we
you've
need
gotta have a
ADA
parking
ramp,
lot.
we
We gotta
need,
have ADA ramp,
Exactly.
we gotta have,
And that is all coming with the engineer's plan. We discussed all of that. I think we talked about having parking for 40 spaces up there. I don't think we have 40 here. I think we
No, no.
closer to like
we
25
have,
maybe.
we have like 28, but.
So, but we did, the plan is to have a parking for 40 vehicles.
Yep.
With an adequate number for handicap as well. So it's,
Okay.
Yes.
it's in the plan, but that's, like the mayor is saying, that this isn't
No,
going to be turnkey in
And I
2020.
understand
I
that.
think it's going to be more like 2021, 2022.
before it's totally
You
finished.
know,
Yeah.
Look how long it took to get this one going.
I
mean,
just want it up front
Yeah.
that nobody is
No
gonna say,
anticipation that it's-
well,
Right.
Right,
we've had that for 8 weeks, why isn't it open?
right.
Yeah, and that's
Probably
something that's
not
gonna
gonna
happen.
open
Yeah.
this year.
No, it's more like
Okay.
2 to 3 year project.
Yeah.
With that understanding, I have no more questions.
Okay, and I think,
Oh, just a comment, depending on the bond issuance and when we're going to start repaving the designated streets, I noticed in the bond issue there was a reserve, and it was there for overcall cost or, and
Contingency.
there may be some funds available to add that to the roadway and the parking structure. Just a thought.
I got a
Yeah.
question. So the
I have an
actual,
opinion about that too.
yeah, I know.
the actual entrance for the building is gonna be from where?
Priest
Priest
Road.
Priest.
Priest.
Okay, and the other driveway?
That's, like I said, Public Works, Animal
Okay,
Control,
That's the one off Waterwood
Off
Pass.
off Waterwood
right.
Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a-
not,
Will be-
it's not a good, that particular
Oh, yeah, I
road is
agree.
not good for a lot of traffic.
The engineer is going, in his plan, the engineer is going to have the road coming in from Priest will have a access to get around the side of the municipal building so that you can drive around the back to the animal control.
Got it.
In the event we have people who are looking for their animals
Right.
or whatever, they don't have to come in. That's basically the back entrance on Priest Road, on Waterwood, excuse me, is only for Public Works and Animal Control. We won't have the general public come through that back
Right.
road. Okay.
Okay.
The next question I have is, what do you think is gonna be, and I'm gonna go with Charles on this, but can't you forecast some kind of idea of what our total cost is gonna be time we get this all
Sure.
done?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm seeing $100,000.
Oh, yeah.
Probably so. And even at that price, that is
Yeah.
still a bargain.
Oh, yeah,
We can't
tremendously,
build
yeah.
5,000
You can't build a house for
You
$100,000.
can't, no.
$50 a square foot.
At minimum, yeah.
Yeah,
But, I mean, those are additional considerations that we have to account for,
Oh,
is
yeah, for
parking
sure.
and the additional engineering work and all that good stuff, so.
In long term, I have no problem with that, because we are growing. We're gonna continue to grow.
We have outgrown this building,
Absolutely.
it's called growing pains.
yeah.
I just wanted up front, everybody understands that we're not moving in next month.
No, we're not. We're not moving in February.
I do have, I've got one other concern that needs to be addressed up front before they do the move. So we need to do some Bobcat work
Yes.
in there
And
to,
we need a base.
and I don't think we need base.
You don't think so?
Looking at the area where the building is going to go, it's already a hard base.
Yeah.
And so if you look at where the slab, where we put the metal supply building at, if you look right beside it, it's built up higher than the rest of the ground around it. And I think there's enough material there that would go down to where that pile of dirt that they dumped when they took the tanks out. That's about where that building is going to end up. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
going up against the fence with probably a 4 to 6 foot space so you can get around the building so that it's not right up against the fence. But coming down from that fence, from the fence line, it's going to kind of, if you come in through Priest Road, the building's going to block the animal control facility
Right.
and the storage unit that's there. But it goes pretty, I mean, it's 100, almost 100
90,
feet.
yeah, almost 100 feet.
Yeah,
So there's only about, I would say there's about 30 feet that really needs to be, finished off and graded. But although everything needs to be leveled, I really don't think we're gonna need base.
Okay.
I think there's enough to when they dig, if you can get somebody to
They
just
have a
do
lot
the
of rock in
bobcat
there
work,
already.
yeah.
You're right.
They take that rock up and put it over here on the other side and it'll just be graded out.
Yeah,
And
just
then, I mean, they're gonna
basically all
level
site
it.
work,
If it's
you know?
off a little bit, they're gonna
Right.
level the building.
Exactly.
We don't want a big,
Right.
2-foot drop.
Right.
But I really, Bobcat services, I think it's really what we're gonna need. So we're probably gonna need to add, I don't know, 2,500 or something like that, just to be comfortable onto that 44,000 if we're gonna move money over.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that has to be in place before
Right.
when he comes down and
Right.
inspects the site, he's gonna say, okay, I want
Yeah,
this,
here's
this,
what
I
you
want
need to
that.
do, and so, I
So
mean, we can
expect it,
start,
it's gonna happen.
on that
Sure.
right away.
Well, the other thing is, we may have to take the gate out. He needs at least 18 feet to maneuver in.
Oh, that's no problem.
No, but
Yeah,
we've got
but
plenty.
we also may
We can
need some
handle that one.
trees.
No, and think
No,
about
we've
it,
got plenty of gate
when
room.
we were down there, Chris and myself, where the building is gonna go, where we decided to put it, where we'd have to cut any trees.
But coming in,
I think he'll have enough
Okay.
to get in. I mean, because when they delivered the animal control building, he came in, he pulled in and maneuvered around.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
It was pretty good.
well, and the way you're talking about placing the building actually works well because they would just come in, make a U-turn, drop, and come in and just, it
Well, yeah,
makes it easier than the way I was
It's a little harder
thinking.
than that, but yeah, basically.
Well, no,
It'd be great if they could back in. I don't know if they'll be able to do that, but they sure can't, they can't get off
Yeah.
of that main
Right.
road, or once they
No.
get up on top, you got hard surface.
Right.
They may do it the same way as they do with mobile homes. I don't know if they got one of them little tractors where
Oh,
they
sure.
hook on them things and just move them around, then that's gonna be pretty easy,
They're probably gonna have a big loader there too, so.
you know.
No floodplain issues either, so that's in good shape.
No what?
So,
Flood,
Floodplain.
Oh,
no
floodplain.
ditches.
No, no ditches.
so the question is, if we add some money in for Bobcat Services, we have, ongoing contract with,
We don't have a contract
but we
with
use-
Chad, but we use
We
Chad.
use him, as well as, Roger, who
Oh,
both have
yeah.
their
Roger's very
papers.
good on his Bobcat.
So, if we can approve the funds to do that now and,
Okay.
not have to go back into, session to authorize that.
To do that later.
What? Okay.
So the site
One more
prep.
money thing. I see no skirting under it as it sits.
True. Don't we have an ordinance
Oh,
against that?
Don't we have an ordinance?
Yeah,
Don't we have an ordinance?
practice what you preach, yeah, it'll have to be done, certainly.
I'd hate for Marcia Lopez to show up
Oh, no,
and write us a
Start slapping
10-day,
hands.
10-day right to cure. So,
definitely, we have to practice what we preach. Definitely.
do we need
So-
budgeted?
Well, and so, do you have an idea of what skirting?
Heavens to bet you know.
Me neither.
Well, when you're doing something on a building that size, you don't want any cheap stuff. It's better just to raise the land around it with site work, okay? And then you have very little, in other words, move rock or something up to the base of it. And then if you wanna do some
Same with the
skirting or something that
Right,
you just have to look at your options there.
okay.
Because a lot of people choose, and then you can put access areas to get underneath.
Right.
But instead of putting skirting, which falls apart and all that other good stuff, if you have a material there, then it's not gonna wash out or anything like that, so, something to consider when you're talking about skirting. There's a lot of options there.
And we'll have to have it there before we can get an estimate on that anyway, so.
Exactly. I want to say on a single wide, I saw somebody quoted something, I want to say $900 to do a single wide.
Yeah, it depends on who you hire.
Yeah.
There's the $4,000 for a single one. It depends.
Okay. But yeah, those are all definitely, additional things that are going to be needed, but again, it's not all happening.
Oh, no, because you gotta get all
Right
the
away.
electrical and everything else in there.
Electrical, plumbing,
Exactly.
All that's gotta be done before you.
So, were there any other questions or comments on any of what we've talked about so far? So we'll go back to item 4A, which is discuss and or possible action on the purchase of a modular building from Texas Facilities Commission Federal Surplus Property. Would someone like to make a motion on that?
Yep, I'll move to approve the purchase of the modular building from Texas Facilities Commission, Federal Surplus Property, for a purchase cost not to exceed $4,500.
Perfect.
I'll second.
$4,000.
$4,500.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Rapino to purchase the modular building from Texas Facilities Commission Federal Surplus Property for a price not to exceed $4,500. All in favor say aye.
All right,
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries.
Who seconded that?
Rapino.
Yeah, for the transport's a different item.
Item 4B, discuss and or possible action on the transportation of the modular building and the related cost. And the cost on this one was $39,500. So I will entertain a motion on that one.
We're gonna add in the cost for the site prep as well. You're saying related costs, so
Yes,
I might add in 2,500 just to be safe.
okay. I can't kick off my shoes.
Please don't.
You don't want me to do that.
So I'll move, we approve the action to transport the modular building with related cost not to exceed $41,000.
Is that what it, 39.5?
I'll second.
You specify the company.
Excuse
too.
me,
Specify the company.
42,000.
Excuse me?
42.
Just
42,
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, so a not to exceed 42.
42,000. And that's utilizing a Silver Reef Transport.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give you a little flex in that.
Okay,
Looks like he doesn't.
so we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay to approve the cost for the modular building or moving the modular building and related cost as performed by Silver Reef Transport. Do we have a second?
a second.
I think Mr.
Mr.
Rapino
Rapino
already
seconded that motion,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, Alderman Rapino has seconded. All in favor, and did I say not to exceed 42,000?
has.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
All right,
Opposed? The motion carries. Okay, let's move on to item 4C, discuss and or possible action on an ordinance amending the 2019 to 2020 budget. So if we look at, I'm not going to look at the ordinance because it is a draft and it's contingent upon what we decide here anyway. So if you go down to the court, municipal court, page, there we go. So we budgeted $45,000 for municipal judge and $45,000 for the prosecutor. And we're not, that's a lot of money, a lot more than we needed there. So I'm proposing that we split it, and we came up with 42 plus 45.
46.5.
Hold on, so we have 42 plus the 4,500, 46.5. And if I divide, hey, stop. 23,250 from each one.
no, ma'am.
Okay, why not?
20.
Using the last month's budget as a forecast, looks like we're gonna have excess of 23,000 on the municipal judge, 24,840 on the prosecutor.
Well, but what you haven't seen is that, was it Judge Molina that turned in 2 months into 1 month here?
Oh, well then, I withdraw my objection.
So you're taking the 46.5 and dividing it in half? Is that what you were doing?
That's what I did, yes.
Okay.
That was 45.
23,250.
Oh, so I thought you said 22,250 earlier. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no.
23,250.
So for the prosecutor, or let's do municipal judge first. Minus
Take your shoes up.
So that would bring them both down to 21,750.
You're too funny. Right, each one at 21,750.
21,750.
21,750 annual budget for each of them, the municipal judge and the prosecutor.
So that's taking 23,250 from each line item and creating, or putting somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, were there any other items that anyone had questions on that they wanted to address?
I do, as the person moving the money. Where are we putting it? Just in like municipal building other or something?
That's a good question. So why don't we have a municipal building maintenance. Lou, would it be advisable to create an assigned line under reserves for that full amount?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So under reserve funding, we would establish a municipal building fund.
Just call it municipal building
Yes,
or municipal
Wait,
plaza
wait,
building?
wait. Municipal plaza.
yeah. Acquisition. Acquisition and placement.
There you go. Acquisition and placement.
Acquisition placement?
And
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 placement.
placement.
And we would appreciate too, if someone in the community would like to name the city hall after themselves, they could give us a grant. I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. That's why it's funny. Okay, so we're going to add a line to,
May turn into Nike Plaza, huh?
Yeah.
under reserve funding for GASB 54 assigned, we're going to create a new line item called Municipal Building Acquisition and Placement and add $43,500 to that line item.
46,000.
Sorry. Oy vey.
That's all right.
Okay. Okay, who wants to make a motion
I'd
on
like
that
to
one?
make a motion now.
Okay, you go for it.
I'd like to move that we adjust the budget, taking $23,250 from the municipal judge budget, leaving the budget amount is $21,750, taking $23,250 from the prosecutor's budget, leaving a budget of $21,750. Moving both of those amounts, totaling $46,500 to the, say it again, Charles, GASB. I lost my place.
Last page.
The GASB 54 reserve funding, new line item acquisition and placement of municipal building.
I'll second.
Yeah, take the easy part.
And to amend the budget ordinance needs to be adopted by ordinance as well.
We-
So to adopt the
We
ordinance.
have an ordinance.
Which, that will be the correct ordinance.
Yeah. So the ordinance number.
Okay, the motion is to adjust the budget under ordinance number 2019-151. An ordinance of the City Council, City of Sandy Oaks, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2019-20 for municipal purposes, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Okay. Would anybody like to second? Oh, Alderman Rapino did.
Not David.
No,
and
not on
me.
that, but I will.
Those two separate motions.
So there,
There's two separate?
Yeah, you need to vote on the
So
first
you can take up the
one.
first motion, moving the line items, and then the second motion.
Is to approve the ordinance. Okay.
So we didn't get a floor call on the first motion.
True.
No, I
Yeah,
know.
there needs to be a vote.
I know. Okay, so the motion, the first motion by Alderman Fillinger is to remove $23,250 from the municipal judge budget line item, leaving a $21,750 balance. Also removing $23,250 from the municipal prosecutor line item with a balance of $21,270.
750.
Oh, sorry. Jeez. I wrote 270.
21,750.
$21,750. And then adding a new line item under GASB 54 assigned for acquisition and placement of building for $46,500. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. So now we need another motion for the ordinance.
That's what Charles,
Charles made it.
He just did it.
and he just seconded it.
Well, let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
I make a motion that we adopt City of Sandy Oaks, Texas ordinance number 2019-151, an ordinance of the City Council, City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, amending the annual budget for fiscal year 2019-2020 for municipal purposes, providing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
And I will, my voice is tired, but yes, I'll say it.
So we have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve ordinance 2019-151. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And it is, we're going to adjourn at 7:11 p.m. Thank you, everyone. So Catherine, I will do the paperwork that will go with this ordinance. Okay? For Exhibit A and B.
Well, B will be after I make the adjustment.
Exactly.
And then I'll just print that.
Really?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, try to set mine up, that's good. I don't want that.